Good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Renee Baribeau, known as the Practical Shaman, and that's because the word the Practical Shaman is really a redundant term. I'll just say that right off the get-go, because shamans were practical. They were concerned about their village. They were concerned about longevity. They were concerned about their livestock. They were concerned about how people thrived over, the eons. And so the fact that we've made it more of a spiritual bath salt, that has been that we had a lot more time to do that. But we're at the doorway of 2024. And all of you people who went to those weekend workshops thinking that you were getting awake, well, your time is now. It's not like the weekend workshop was for naught. It's because the world needs you right now. And hence, this is why we have the IAM Symposium, Winter Solstice, Fire Tenders Gathering, because we're calling all of you who have been on this path just beginning and for a very long time to come together. The last year has been really, really tricky because what's happened over the last few years is we've started to put like a chasm through the spiritual community and thinking that we're different. Truth is, look out the window, see the tree. That's who we are. We're nature. We're no different than the tree in the woods, the owl in the tree. And we are here to remind ourselves of that because somewhere along the line, we forgot that we are nature. And that's why I work tirelessly in service. And I want to thank all the people who have already donated for this. It's bringing community together isn't free. There's a video editor, there's an assistant, there's me, there's the candles cost, the flowers cost, it all costs. And so, feel free when you add your altar to donate or to buy the collection. And how about a wind whistle? I mean, let's start with this new favorite wind whistle of mine. And then I'm going to introduce Catherine and she's going to take over. But I figured I'd come live so you'd have to get a little piece of me each and every time. And in the Wind Clan, we start all of our gatherings by laughing. So laugh with me, laugh at me, just laugh. Because when you're laughing, your energy is higher, your vibration, it's called a high vibe. And I learned something this morning on Spotify that it took me by surprise because we got the results for last year's The Shaman's Cave. Oh, speaking of the Shaman's Cave, hit subscribe here and hit the bell, and you'll get notified of all when we go live with all of our presentations for the IAM because we're on YouTube. Long story, we don't have to go into it, but there was a lot of energy at the fire last night, and YouTube seems to be the number one. That was what all the ones were about, moving it from Facebook to YouTube. 1111, get ready for a shift. All right, listen to this new little owl ocarina. It's like a good melody to get us started. A nice, sweet sound to get us started because we have a long day ahead of us today with amazing presenters who come here generously out of the gifts of their own hearts to be here with you and share their wisdom. And everybody who's presenting has a lot of wisdom to share, including my dear friend, Catherine Maguire, who I met many years ago in Ireland, and she now lives in Italy, but like I have a foot in the desert and a foot on Whidbey, she has a foot in both places. She's a shaman and soul guide, and she's going to guide you on a journey to meet your soul and cross the thresholds into who you are becoming and become a light bearer for yourself and for the world. That's a big promise. So
I know.
So welcome. It's the first time. You haven't joined us in years.
been
It's not
years
the
and
first.
years.
I know.
Great. Great to
I,
be back. It's where I
it's
feel like I'm a whole different person since I saw you last. It's amazing.
I know. The last time we saw each other was in LA. We had lunch, and then you went underground for many years into Italy and into those cobblestones and your village. And all of a sudden, she's coming back out. And I'm sure she's going to let us know about how this looks and how you can reach her. But one of my prized long distance friendships, and I'm honored that you're here with us today, and you can take it away.
Oh, thank you. And thank you. And thank you for, organizing this. If you're watching this and you don't know, Renee, there is a reason Renee works with the wind, because she is a force of nature. And it takes a force of nature to put together something like this IAM symposium. So thank you.
Thank you.
I am glad. I just have to show up and do my thing. You're there doing the tech, doing the organization, doing the everything. So thank you so much. So my name is Catherine. I'm from Ireland originally, and for the past 8 years, I've been living in a medieval village on top of a mountain in southern Italy. And the reason I'm here is because about 10 years ago, I started to get that soul calling that something had to change. Something had to change. And the thing that had to change is where I physically located myself. And I truly believe, I really, truly believe our soul is always calling us to be our most authentic self. And that sounds gorgeous and it sounds lovely. But to be our most authentic self, we have to continually die to who we are and be born again. So the last 8-10 years for me have been a big death and rebirth process. And where we are in our world, if we take it where we are just in this moment of time here in the Northern Hemisphere, like it's already dark where I am. I'm watching Renee, and the light's just coming up where she is. It's already dark here. We're just entering into the longest night here in Italy as we are in the Northern Hemisphere. And in the Celtic calendar, the new year starts in the dark. It starts at Samhain, which is way back, what you would know as Halloween maybe. And we start in the dark. And the idea is, that we put those seeds that we want to germinate for the year ahead into the dark. And in that process, also shed what no longer serves us, shed what we want to let go of, shed what we've outgrown. And then we emerge from the dark in Imbolc, which is the start of February. So we have this big gestation period between Samhain and Imbolc. And right in the middle, we have the winter solstice. And there's a moment, a moment where it's almost like time stops still. It's a liminal space. And then something shifts, and then the light starts to return, calling us towards emergence again in the spring. And we're in that collectively, we're in that collectively in our world. We're in this dark phase, we're in a winter where collectively around the world, we have to let go of what doesn't serve us. We're, fraught, we're more, desperate and disparate than before. I see people all the time, they're constantly in a state of fight or flight. They're constantly stressed. They're worried about the future. And it's an unpredictable time. And in truth, we have had many unpredictable times throughout our history as humans. But we're living through this unpredictable time. So for us, collectively, we are the custodians of this point of change. So what do we do? And in liminal space, enter liminal space, something happens. The first thing that happens is we have to let go of the known. Everything we thought we knew. And a bit like Renee was saying about, if you did a weekend course or you're on a spiritual path, you have to let go of that to an extent, in that you have to let go of what you think that is or what you think that looks like. And you step into the unknown. And when we step into the unknown, we step into the void. And that's where we are today. It's, it's solstice. We're stepping into that darkest night here in the Northern Hemisphere, that point of not knowing, that point of infinite possibility within the unknown. And that's a point of power, an exquisite point of power, if you're willing to embrace it. But for many of us, we resist the unknown and we resist the dark. and we resist that point of change. But if we can embrace it, we meet the infinite potentiality that exists in the universe. We meet the infinite potentiality that exists within inside us, the infinite potentiality that lives and exists in nature. I'm a gardener, and at the moment my garden is resting. There's some, garlic and onions and, winter greens over there. But by and large, it's resting. And all my hard work throughout the year is mulching back into the soil. And it looks like not a whole lot's happening. But everything that's breaking down is creating new compost, new nutrients that, when I plant new vegetables in spring, they'll grow again. They'll grow strong. And the same for us. We're in that process of shedding, that process of composting. And it's hard. If we don't do it consciously, it's really, really hard. And the thing is, like I said to you, your soul is always calling you to be your most authentic self. So if we don't embrace that change and don't embrace that transition constantly, we'll get kicked in the butt by our soul. So the job, you'll get fired, or you'll be told by the partner that they're leaving the relationship or they're going to kick you out, or you have a health crisis, or something happens that causes drama where you have to change. And that's really hard. That is really hard because the adjustment takes more. It's not impossible. We've all been there, we've all done it. We've all done it several times. But this goes back to something Renee was saying a moment ago about joy and laughter. If we choose to change consciously, we can bring an element of joy to the process. And the truth of the matter is, and I say this as someone who was raised on a farm, and that's why I adore Renee's work, because, she calls herself the practical shaman. I was raised to do things practically. I was raised on a farm. We practically had to get out and do stuff, physically with our hands. And with that, though, there's a part of me that is identified with the hard path. Like there is value in hard work. And in truth, there's nothing wrong with that unless it becomes part of our identity. And that can kind of filter into our spiritual practice and our spiritual process, which we have to have the dark night of the soul, and we have to have the trauma, and the life has to have, has to fall apart, or you have to go on the ayahuasca thing down the jungle for 3 weeks, and just, have your insides purged. The truth is the path ahead of us doesn't have to be hard. It can be beautiful and exquisite and joyful. It doesn't mean you won't get stretched. It doesn't mean you won't have to grow, but we can reach for beauty within that. We can reach for the sweetness within that. And collectively, in our world, if we can do that, reach for the point of sweetness, we reach for the point of joy. We don't have to create a situation where we go through a collective trauma to have a conscious evolution, to have change. And it starts with us. It starts with us. It's not about, demanding of the other, demanding of politicians, demanding of, whoever you feel is running the world. That change starts with us. Can I consciously evolve here in my heart, in my being, and align to sweetness, align to grace, align to the beauty of transformation that is sublime, but it doesn't have to be hard. Your life doesn't have to fall apart. So that's my invitation to you today, to enter the liminal with me. Enter to the liminal space with me today on this solstice day. Meet your soul. See what it wants of you. What is it calling to you? What is it asking of you? And see if you'll accept that. Will you say yes to that? Will you say, yes, I'm willing to take that step across the threshold into who I'm becoming? So if you're willing to meet me in that place, I invite you to come on a journey with me. So let's take a moment. Get comfy. Close your eyes. Take a few nice, glorious breaths. And bring your breath and your awareness down into your body. Just follow the breath for a moment. Follow the breath into your body and out of your body. like a wave coming into the shore. The breath comes in, and there's a moment where that wave flips and turns and recedes back out to sea. Allow your breath to be like that, the wave coming in, that pause, and that beautiful exhalation. And then when you're ready, in your mind's eye, I invite you to journey with me out onto the land. Pick a place that feels good to you today. Somewhere in nature that is calling you. It could be a forest, a beach, a mountain, wherever feels good. Trust that and take a moment to get there. And when you get there, engage your senses. So first of all, engage your sense of sight. What can you see? And everyone receives information differently. So if you don't see, that's okay. Trust that. But if your sense of sight is one of your primary senses, what can you see? And what can you hear? Maybe you hear that owl that Renee called in. The rustle of the branches, the rustle of the wind. What can you hear? As you breathe in, what can you smell? What can you smell on the wind? And stick out your tongue. What can you taste on the air? And then take a moment, check in with your body. What can you feel? Can you feel the temperature of the day? Or maybe there's a feeling or emotion that wants to be present. What can you feel? Maybe you can feel your clothes against your skin. I'm going to invite you, take a walk through this landscape with me. Feeling the earth beneath your feet. And as you do so, notice, are you barefoot or are you wearing shoes? No right, no wrong, no judgment, just awareness. And as you walk through this landscape, you begin to hear the crackle of a fire and smell the smoke. Walk towards it. Walk towards that fire. As you get towards it, notice there's someone waiting for you by the fire. A medicine man or a medicine woman. Their eyes are bright. They are smiling. And they are so happy to see you. They've been calling to you. They've asked you to come. And you've answered their prayer. Maybe you want to embrace them, give them a hug. Maybe place your forehead against theirs, acknowledging each other in this moment. And the medicine man or the medicine woman is going to take you through a little process, a little ritual, just to cleanse your energy, allow you to ground. So whatever needs to happen in this moment, allow it to occur. And then when you're ready, your medicine woman or your medicine man takes you by the hand and they lead you slightly away from the fire. where this beautiful being of energy is waiting for you. This is the energy of your soul, the part of you that is infinite and eternal, the part of you that holds all your wisdom codes, the part of you that knows why you incarnated and why you're here at this time, the part of you that knows why you chose the soul lessons that you've chosen. So take a moment, be present with the energy of your soul in however it shows up today, as energy, as an animal, as a person, as something else. Be present with the energy of your soul and breathe it in. Breathe you in. This is you. And when you're ready, ask your soul, what do I need to let go of at this time? It could be a belief, a relationship, a situation, a food. What do you need to let go of at this time? And ask your soul, what no longer serves you? What have you outgrown? And then ask your soul, what is the wisdom that you want to share with me today? What would you have me know? In my heart and in my mind, what do you want me to know today? And if you have a question for your soul, ask it. What do you want to know? And when you're ready, see if there's anything else that needs to happen between you and your soul today. You can come back and meet with it again. It's always here, it's a part of you. But for today, what needs to happen? When you're ready, thank it, embrace it, feel the love, allow the love in, receive the love. And then when you're ready, come back to the fire where your medicine man or your medicine woman is waiting for you. And they reach out their left hand and they take some of the fire from the fire, the energy of the fire, and they place it in your heart. And as they do so, they remind you, you are the light. You are the light. You are born of light. You are the embodiment of light. You are the bearer of light. You radiate light. So take a few moments and tune into that light that lives in your heart. The energy of the solstice fire. Tune into that light in your heart. And ask it, how can I carry this light? How can I be the bearer of this light in my own life? And it can be something simple, a kind word to the person you buy your coffee off today. Or maybe a kindness towards yourself. How can I be the bearer of this light in my own life today? And how can you be the bearer of this light in the world? Breathe into that. Breathe into that. I am the light. I am of the light. I am a bearer of the light. And know that this is part of your conscious evolution in the world today, to hold that light in your heart, share it with yourself, and share it with others. If you're on this call, if you're in this symposium, you came to be a bearer, a carrier of the light. That's why you were called to the fire. Are you willing to answer that call? Are you willing to hold the light, even on the darkest of dark days? Can you say yes to that? And very gently thanking your medicine man or medicine woman. Very gently offering your gratitude to the fire. Gently offering your gratitude to yourself. Slowly and gently connecting with your breath again. And coming back, back, back. Traveling back on your breath into your body, into this moment, and back to me. Big breath. Move your body gently. And come back to me. Well done. Well done. So if you have a pen or a piece of paper beside you, you might want to make a few little notes so that you remember them. Or just take a moment to be with that energy, to be with yourself. And know that you can return to this journey whenever you need to recalibrate and remind yourself that you are the light. Aho.
Well, that was beautiful.
Oh, I'm glad.
A lot to write down in between, and I don't know if you've seen that I've been seeing 1, 1, 1, 1 all The new guide came, like a lot. I guess this one is, the question is deeper and really there's a transformation coming in my life. And the ones are here, and I took them lightly until the hubbub at the fire last night. Because everything was going along so smooth. So that was wonderful. Thank you, Catherine. And
You're welcome.
Glad you're back. And I hope
Good to be back.
I know, it's so nice to see you and have you be back. And much love to you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And to everyone, there's a very full schedule today. I think our next up presenter is also from out of the country, but I don't have the schedule in front of me. But I think Marcia Scarborough is coming up, and she lives in Spain. So we're over the pond this morning. So
gorgeous.
Continue with us at the fire. Keep those candles going.
I will.
Share your altars, and look at. I even have my little fire going in
my fire's going here behind me as well.
Whatever the fire is, whatever the light is, just to remind us all that we are the light of nature. So